Have you ever noticed how gossip has a way of creeping into even the best workplaces? You start with what feels like an innocent comment, maybe just processing a situation or sharing a frustration, and before you know it, something has shifted. As Christians in the workplace, this is one of our biggest blind spots. We don't mean to spread gossip. In fact, it often starts from good intentions, trying to offload stress, vent, or even ask for prayer. But gossip, even when it's wrapped in spiritual language, can quietly poison a workplace culture. So today we're going to unpack how that happens, how to recognize it in ourselves and our teams, and how to replace it with a culture of truth, grace, and spirit-led communication. Welcome back to Faith-Driven Leadership, where we help Christian professionals and business leaders live out biblical principles in today's workplaces. If you haven't already subscribed, please do that. If you lead a team or influence others at work, what you say and what you allow to be said shapes culture more than anything else. And here's the truth, you can't build trust and gossip at the same time. One is about building up and the other does just the opposite. I wish I could say I'm flawless in this, but the truth is, this is an ongoing discipline for me and one I need to keep an eye on. Even now, when something frustrates me, I feel the same temptation to offload to someone I trust. But now I'm more conscious about pausing and checking my heart. What is my motivation? Am I really looking for some wisdom, or am I just wanting some short-term release? And here's the pitfall. Conversations that start out as healthy can quietly slip into gossip. And that's the tricky part. Gossip rarely announces itself. It often hides behind phrases like, I probably shouldn't say this, but can you believe what they did? I just need to get this off my chest. And before you know it, we've crossed from sharing to shaping someone else's reputation without them being in the room. So what actually counts as gossip? Biblically, gossip isn't necessarily lying. It's sharing something that isn't yours to share. It's talking about someone instead of to them. Proverbs 16:28 says, a perverse person stirs up conflict, and a gossip separates close friends. At its core, gossip divides. It thrives on secrecy, half-truths, and one-sided stories. And we can try and frame it as caring, but if we are honest, our spirit tells us otherwise. Then there's Christian gossip, which can almost sound noble, saying something like, I just want to pray for them, they're going through a tough time. But if you start sharing private details without permission, that's not intercession, that's betrayal. So how do we stop it, both in ourselves and the teams we lead? It starts with courage. When you hear gossip, redirect it with grace. Something as simple as, hey, have you had a chance to talk to them about this directly? That sends a powerful signal that gossip isn't the currency of your culture. Next, model what it looks like to speak life, especially when someone's not in the room. When your team hears you affirm people who aren't present, it changes the tone of what's acceptable. Another habit, create safe spaces for honest conversations. If people can talk openly to leadership, they're much less likely to talk secretly about leadership. And finally, pray for discernment before you speak. Ask, is what I'm about to say helping build trust, or is it just relieving my frustration? Because spirit-led speech always aims to build, not to wound. Gossip isn't just a workplace issue, it's a spiritual battle for unity. The enemy loves to twist words, sow misunderstandings, and isolate people. But Jesus calls us to be peacemakers, not peacekeepers who avoid conflict, but leaders who confront it in love. Ephesians 4:29 puts it perfectly. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs. Every conversation is a chance to tear down or build up. And as a Christian leader, your words carry multiplied influence. So maybe today's challenge is simple. Before you speak about someone, pause and ask, would I say this if they were here? And even deeper, would I still say it if Jesus were standing beside me in this conversation? If we all led with that kind of awareness, imagine what our workplaces could become. They'd be places of integrity, restoration, and real trust. Your words can create that culture, because when the Spirit leads your speech, gossip loses its grip. If this message resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with another Christian leader in your network, because culture doesn't change through policies, it changes through people who speak life. And if you want to go deeper into leading biblically in a secular workplace, without losing your peace or your witness, check out my Faith-Driven Leadership course. It's designed to help Christian professionals lead with integrity, courage, and grace in any environment. Remember, your voice can be the start of healing in your workplace. Let's use it well.